part 2 of our shoulder exercise program here today. I've got a bench here for our program today. If you don't have a bench, is what you can do for some of these exercises, especially the second one that we'll do. You can use the bed and you can kind of shift yourself over to one side and just complete them one at a time. I'll go over that once we get there, but you will need a surface to sit on and lay down on. Alright, so our first one that we're going to get into, I'm actually going to turn around to show you guys this one a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our head up nice and tall. We're going to have our arms bent to about 90 degrees here, alright? So 90, we're going right here, 90 degrees. Now what we want to do is we want to show that we have control over our shoulders. So we've got these bones back here, they're going to be our scapula, alright? They're part of that shoulder girdle. And what we want to do is show that we can squeeze those scapula without elevating the shoulders, alright? So if we can kind of have control over the shoulder itself, we're going to be able to help that rehabilitation process come along much quicker. Alright, so again, we're up nice and tall. We're not overarched at the spine. We've got a neutral spine. Our arms are bent at 90 degrees. And from there, I'm going to pinch my scapula or my shoulder blades while keeping my shoulders depressed and down. Alright, so again, if you see some sort of circular motion here, you know that that's incorrect. If you just squeeze up and hard, that is again correct. We need to keep our shoulders down and pinch back with those shoulder blades. You should start to feel this towards the middle of your back. You can creep into the upper part just a little, but if you're feeling it towards the neck, you know that you're pinching too high. With this exercise here, we can either go through a set number of repetitions, or to practice our posture a little bit better, we can simply pinch back and squeeze. We can hold this position for 30 seconds. I don't recommend squeezing as hard as physically possible, but holding some tension in there for a good duration of time. Again, about 30 seconds will be suffice. The next one that we're going to get into is going to come from a prone position. So our prone position is going to be on our stomach. And what we're going to get into is 3 different exercises here. Alright, so before I go any further, if you don't have a bench like so, you can do these on the floor. I just don't recommend it. It's actually going to be a lot tougher. But what you can do is you can shift yourself to the side of the bed and just do one arm at a time. You'll see what I'm talking about when I show you what exercises we're actually going to do here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, come into a prone position here. I'm going to bring my chin towards the front side of this bench, and I'm actually going to tuck it into the bench here. Alright, from here I'm going to do 3 different exercises. I'm going to do my I's, I'm going to do my T's, and I'm going to do my Y's. Alright, so with each movement here, we want our arm or our shoulders to be externally rotated because, again, that is the strong position for our shoulders. So our first one is going to be our I's. So I'm going to take myself, if I have to shift myself a little bit forward, I'm going to take my arms directly out in front. Thumbs are going to face the ceiling, and I'm going to try and raise as high as I can without getting into this super arched or this Superman position. Alright, so again, we're just focusing on the shoulders here. So if you can't come all the way up, that is completely okay. As you can see here, I have healthy shoulders, and I cannot either. Alright, I recommend starting with 10 repetitions here before moving on to your next movement, which we're going to go into our T's next. Alright, our T's are going to go, again, externally rotated, but now I'm going to take my arms out to the side. Your T's are going to feel a little bit easier than your I's, and our thumbs are going to end up pointing towards the ceiling. From here, again, I'm trying to pinch those scapula, the middle part of my shoulder blade, as I raise these arms up. There's no need for you to come all the way up into this position and overextend here. Coming just in line with your body is completely okay. This one you might be able to complete 15 repetitions on, but if you're sticking with 10 to start, again, completely okay. Alright, last but not least, from this prone position on our bench, we're going to get into our Ys. Alright, so our Ys are basically going to be a combination of the I and the T. We're going to make ourselves into the shape of the letter Y. So, I'm not going to go straight forward. I'm not going to go directly out to the side. I'm going to try and create a 45-degree angle here. Alright, again, thumbs face the ceiling, and I'm going to raise up into this Y position. Again, I'm just using my shoulders here. I'm not getting any sort of a jerk motion and propelling my arms up. It's a slow, subtle motion, and I'm keeping everything nice and tight. Alright, so with our I's, our T's, and our Y's, I recommend starting with 10 repetitions of each. Before you know it, you've completed 30 repetitions when you complete that superset there. So it is going to be challenging, but it is a great exercise for your posture. If you have shoulder pain, I do recommend doing this. Maybe every other day it's going to start to strengthen those muscles within there. If you aren't experiencing any shoulder pain, you can still do this exercise, as it's going to be a great one to improve your posture. Alright, the next one that we're going to do here is going to be something that you've probably seen if you've been interacting with our weekly exercise videos. It's going to be an upper trap stretch. So our traps are these muscles here that are right along the kind of outside part of the neck and into the shoulder. Oftentimes they hold a lot of stress, and they're kind of taxed because more often than not, we're working on the computer, we're texting with our phone, or frankly, we're not even using the headrest when we drive. We're driving like this as opposed to pulling ourselves back and using that headrest. So we're going to get into an upper trap stretch here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold each side for 30 seconds. I should say what you are going to do when you complete this exercise program. I'm going to talk you through it. But what we're going to do is we're sitting up nice and tall. Again, core is braced. I'm going to take my right ear towards my right shoulder. I'm going to drop it down as far as I can. You might get a little pop in there. That's okay. Then I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to place it on top of my head. By no means am I pulling this arm, or am I pulling this head down with my arm. All right. From here, I want you to try and keep this opposite shoulder down and allow that stretch to occur all the way basically from your ear down into your shoulder. Again, you'll hold for 30 seconds. You're going to release the arm. You're going to come up nice and tall, and then you're going to complete it on the other side. So left ear towards left shoulder, left hand on top of the head, keeping the right arm as relaxed as possible. You'll hold for 30 seconds before moving on. After completing our upper trap stretch, we can move into simple cervical rotations. All right, so we're talking about the cervical part of the spine. We're talking about this upper part. All right, so what we're simply going to do is, again, keep those shoulders as relaxed as possible, those arms down at the side. And we're just going to complete 12 to 15 repetitions, turning our head from one side to the other. Notice here my shoulders aren't moving. I'm turning my head as far as I can, all the way over to the right in this case, and then I'm going to go to my left. Now I'm not going to move on to my left until I complete, like I said, 12 to 15 repetitions, but for the sake of our video today, we'll go over to the left now. And similar to our neck and our back, so our back, when we showed the lower back program, we showed kind of a technique where we rotate from one side to the other, basically testing a good side and a bad side. You can do the same exact thing here for your neck. So if you notice going from the right, it's easy, and then maybe I go to the left and it feels a little bit tight. So that right side would be my good side in this case, and I would kind of rotate to the right side for 3 rounds of 15 repetitions, and then from there I would then test both sides again. I'd complete this over and over until both sides are about even. If you need a little refresher, I recommend going back to that lower back program and really diving deep into what I'm speaking on here. That's going to conclude our second phase of this shoulder program. We'll get into phase 3 next week, and then we'll finish up with the 4th and final phase the following week. Check back next week for the 3rd phase.